How long have you been doing that?
I think that this, I mean, we've always done an early one.
Oh, have you really?
It was rare that we do an actual Thanksgiving Day because, well, I say that 30 years ago, from 40 to 30 years ago, we would alternate between my mom and my father.
Right.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, in trouble with the video again.
It just said the video was private.
come on,
Okay, and you can see us, we have
I
video.
can see and I can see me waving my hand.
How many YouTube stuff you like?
As soon as the girls moved out, we started.
Do another video, yeah.
Oh, my last year.
Early too, wow. Or I assume that's on time.
No, well, yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
about right.
yeah. We're just kind of shy about it, not wanting to work.
What, can you figure out where the problem is?
So Lacey did an update on the computer to see.
I did it after.
She did it after. So she did an
Cause I
update.
was already scared to do it.
Yeah, I bet.
So I don't know.
And it's, I think it's a glitch with YouTube.
Yeah, because even today, it like would flash and then go back and then flash and then go back. So I don't know.
I think that all of these updates that everybody's doing, they can't seem to figure out how to coordinate them all so that you've got everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
And, oh, sorry, ours wasn't updated, so it's not gonna work with yours.
Yeah.
That just is.
Or the update causes a problem that they didn't
Exactly.
anticipate.
Exactly.
And you're just like,
Time for a new update.
That's
Yeah.
what I wonder if YouTube has done something and it's not syncing up right
Yeah.
now it's doing.
yeah.
No telling, and I suppose it's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah.
To even worry about it. So. Have we heard from Max today? He's gonna be out of town. Thanksgiving.
I think he'll be here. I think that was the whole thing, like everybody wanted to do it on Tuesday, so
Oh,
that
right.
Wednesday, everybody could we could be off and not
Okay.
have to worry about
Out of the way.
trying to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Jim, do you have family coming today or?
Actually, we, number two son and his wife and there was a puppy.
Oh,
In California.
Oh, wow.
oh, nice.
But, my first two kids, boys, are, my stepson, and so they're taking B's car and driving over to Harrison, today, and it's been, tonight, it's bad.
Okay.
And we'll come back tomorrow. We got a bunch, we got a whole swath of people I think, coming in.
Oh, wow.
But we got, my son Dallas's house now, as part of the gathering places.
Oh, that helps.
I think we're gonna be mostly at his house.
Yeah. I keep looking at my house and thinking, yeah, if we were gonna have people over.
Well, if they're at Dallas's house, you know, he's got three boys and they're neighborhood kids, they all, you know, they've got such a, good group of kids there, so,
That's good.
their cousins, when their cousins come in, they won't stay up there where all the.
Oh,
the kids
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I hate it. Can you tell?
Yeah.
That's what happens at our house at Christmas time. All the kids go upstairs and I'm like, of course, they're getting to the age now where they're going out instead of going upstairs. And,
We got three boys that are 13, 14 years old.
mm,
They're getting to the age where they're into what the adults are doing.
Oh, are they really? Oh, wow. Well, if there's a game of cards at our house, all of the girls won't, the twins won't be involved. But the other kids generally will all want to get in on it, so. it can get.
Dallas just put a big pool in the backyard, so this summer, starting this summer, his house is gonna be in focal point.
Central.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it will.
That's always a good thing. I would much rather kids be at our house than to be over at somebody else's house and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you always wanted your house to be the house that all the kids. came to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, growing up.
That's right, we had that in, everywhere we were, but especially in Tennessee, we had a house that was perfect for the kids to be separated from us. You know,
Mm,
and a lot of space for them to play big yard. And, a lot of, it was always, that's where everybody congregated. All the neighborhood children from there, you know, we had kind of stair-step kids, and so there was somebody in the age group of just about everybody.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because we were in the country and
Oh.
kids all over the
Yeah.
Mm, I got a big stack for a bonfire right now. I guess after all this rain, we might could have it.
Yeah, I know, that's always, it like gets built up and you're like, okay, let's burn it, and then it's dry.
Right. And that's what Stephanie was like, we gotta get this thing going. She loves bonfires and usually has had one out at her house. Grandparents a long time.
Not too early.
No, you're
No,
fine.
was Max, was
He
he?
hasn't changed.
Okay.
I got my 857 on mine.
Yeah.
What about it?
Why didn't they do it?
No.
No, but I think that they just, like, federal architecture and architectural
Oh,
and stuff.
So, yeah, so
It's gonna be the same.
I think so. I think we'll be living in construction, you know, that construction.
I know, I
Because no
hate
matter how they try,
Yeah.
when you start trying to, you know, that whole road.
Mhm.
Where are we gonna do this?
It's just, okay, I'm horrible. If we're here, it's down that way.
There's a curve and then it goes into the equipment yard and
Okay,
it's gonna be that direction.
so it's gonna
Oh,
Other north, over north,
on the right side.
sort of.
Okay.
And the curve goes this way and from the plans that I saw, it's at the end of the
Okay,
curve, not
okay,
the curve.
okay. Okay. So you haven't seen any strong, any site work at all?
No,
One minute, Max, we give you 1 minute. I don't really want to start with that. But. You know.
But then it's on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Driving.
I'm always concerned when my grandson, I get a text from him and I think,
There he is.
Yeah.
there he is, hey.
Yeah.
We will call this meeting, we're waiting, let's make sure, yeah, we're 9 o'clock. Call this meeting to order, and our first order of business is approving the minutes. You want to look at those meetings? Yeah.
Good to me.
Okay.
Sweet.
We will go with minutes as presented, move on to provisional ballot canvas.
So the one provisional ballot that we had for lack of ID, they came in and showed their ID, so that is countable, so I'll go ahead and do that. This is the zero take from the machine,
Okay.
and then this is the unofficial results from election night.
Oh, good.
And then we'll go ahead and run this one, because there, aside from no ID, there was no other reason to not have this ballot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Super.
This is the father-son thing that goes right.
Mhm.
This is the
Yep.
father being a really good father, showing his son how to
Yes.
deal with the.
Yeah, because the ID is a state issued ID, so.
Hello. How you doing? No.
How are you? This, if you want to see. And I will need a commissioner signature on this. This is just the letter informing the vote.
Oh,
That
okay.
their ballot did count, and then we will email that to him. And then the remaining paperwork is the paperwork that shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he only gets the letter.
He'll just get the letter,
Okay.
and we'll make a copy of the letter showing that it was signed. And then if I can get the commission, we went ahead and kind of are gonna do something a little different. I can get the commissioner's
Oh.
initials on the
I
top
was
of that.
curious looking at that.
So that will show that that was the results before we counted the one provisional ballot. And then, let's see.
Yeah, I looked at that and went,
Yeah, that
Something
way it's just kind of, I mean, we always have the timing, the time on the bottom,
yeah,
showing when it's printed.
right.
But this will allow us to go ahead and have the commissioners acknowledge that that
I
was
think that's
the results for
smart.
the previous night.
Yeah.
I'll be three copies of them, probably four, actually. And so, in order for us to easily do this certificate, as another, that was my thought process behind this. In the past, we would kind of take that document and dump it in the middle of the document. This way, this is the complete document for the commission to sign. And then it's attached to this document with the commissioner's initials on the actual document. That'll make it easier for us.
Okay, good idea.
And then I'll do these in triplicate so that the city gets one, the county clerk gets one, and we have one.
They can sign all three.
Yes, they show the addition of the ballot, and then they show,
Not going to be thinking this is not about. It's gonna show this as what we want it's first. I don't know.
I don't know.
Right.
how-
I hate it.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I don't really- I mean, there is. It's kind of a round robin thing here, so it's a little bit confusing. Yes.
And then this is the review of the actual results tapes to show that everything that we entered into the election night computer, we actually verified from the results tapes. That's one of the things that State Board of Election Commissioners talks about, that this is not the actual results that you need to actually verify from the tapes.
Oh,
And so that is our spreadsheet showing we have
Good.
verified from the tapes.
Okay. It's kind of a second check.
Yes. And then this is the ballot disposition report. This shows that we had one provisional ballot that was counted. We had 16 absentee ballots. We had one that was returned after the deadline. So we couldn't count. So the
Okay.
commission actually, that's in our office. There isn't anything to do with that, other than to note that it did return after the deadline. And then that gets filed with the State Board of Election Commissioners. And if you'll notice the number at the bottom is, yeah, 1270 is the number. There should be 1216.
Right.
Which matches.
Yeah.
our results. So that shows that every ballot was counted.
I believe so.
This is always like the last day. First sign here, sign here.
Today is the 21st, yes, sir. That- yes, yes. Do we all three need to sign this?
Yeah, since you're here, normally this document does not have to be completed at the sign certification.
Right.
But with such a small election, it actually, I think it should be completed at the time of certification. That it allows for just my signature, but I have the commission here already.
Jim, you want to put 23 on
I do.
there. You're still a year back.
You know, it's always like the first of January.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know. And it makes it hard when we're, like, we'll start preparing the documents for the primary election in
Oh, my
December, which means we'll have a tendency to want to put 23 in there.
Yeah, I would say we need to really shoot that.
Yes.
As diligently as possible to make sure it doesn't sneak in there somewhere.
And this is the last part. This is the individual solicitation. These are in triple as well. One for the clerk, one for, the city clerk candidate, and then for our office.
What do you do with these after you get them? You keep one for the office?
We keep the one for our office, one actually goes to the candidate, and then one goes to the city clerk. It looks like, file,
Elected.
yes, we'll file stamp those.
Oh, good,
And
okay.
then that way it shows that they've been filed with the clerk's office. In the past, we always keep a copy because after a primary and general, someone loses theirs. Or
Exactly.
they never receive it in the mail for some reason, and this way I have an original that we can actually give to the candidate.
Of course, after a while, you have some papers.
Well, after a while, it will go into storage, but I've learned my lesson after many, many years of like a lot, like just one candidate for whatever reason it they never received in the mail. And then there's a deadline to get it in, so we keep originals just in that case, or they'll call and say they lost it.
Yeah.
They're like, I opened it up and placed it somewhere and then I can't find it. So,
I can't believe it.
yes.
Okay, other business. Any other business? Files for other business?
When do we meet next?
December.
DVD?
December the fifth,
December.
9 a.m. in the,
Ballot draw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
can notify
notified
everybody.
everybody.
So we have everyone's, addresses to send out letters and the candidates I have emails for, we'll just email. There will be a notice in the paper, this Sunday, as part of the requirement. I have sent the notice to the chairman of each political party. I emailed those. And so we are ready for the ballot draw. And then on December 5th, I also feel like that'll be an appropriate time for us to pick up our discussion about polling locations early on the site. Because we do need to go ahead and officially vote on those, make decisions.
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year. I do have one other meeting scheduled, in December. I think it was December the 12th. And that would be a ballot approval for us to take a look at the ballot. It will need to be a preliminary approval. Technically, any city or entity has until December 28th to officially file something to be on the ballot. So, but we'll have everything laid out. I'll go ahead and approve everything. I have heard from most everybody that I think is going to have a special election, so we'll already have that prepared. But someone does have to look at me, so call for a special election, so we'll have to set a meeting after that.
What time on the 12th?
On the 9th, if that works, or at 9, at 9,
Oh, yeah.
9, if that works for everyone. Yes.
It's it. That's on December 12th.
Yes.
At 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I don't think that we really discussed it,
Yeah.
but I want us to, we'll have an idea of the layout of the ballot, but before we get so far into the
Yeah.
ballot, if there's something the commission wants us to lay out differently, or that
We'll
way,
need time.
yeah, and, we'll have a preliminary proofs at that time for everyone. And then November 30th, which is next Thursday, we have trainer. So we will alternate the sheriff's annex.
This is gonna be 2024 early vote, correct?
Yes, sorry, I'm in 20.
I know,
What I'm trying, yeah.
that's
It will be
exactly what I was
2024,
thinking.
yes.
Yeah, we need to really watch that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's good. That's it. See you guys in, couple weeks.
Yeah.
So the 5th,
Is that the forum for?
for, we are going to discuss, ballot or polling location. Are we gonna try to finalize everything that day?
We can, or we can, if everything I present that the commission approves of lights, but we can take a second look at it on December the 12th.
We will have a chance to
Yes, digest everything.
ask questions. make
Which
suggestions.
means if we don't like what you've given us on the 5th, you're gonna have to scramble to the
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah. Or if there's tweaks to it, if there's
Yeah.
hours that we want to adjust, or if there's, depending on how we think the voter turnout is gonna be, those kind of things. The commission, we have time, that's why I've got those 2 meetings scheduled. Another thing that I had discussed with the commission was about, trying to do a new precinct map with removing all this, or making the school zones actual precincts. And I have preliminary, maps and I have that, but I think I want to actually hold off on that due to the LEARNS Act, basically. It took out a portion of the law which required school districts to go to zones based on the population. We've already heard from some school districts that they may want to go away from zones and go back to voting at large. Because it is difficult for a small school district to find candidates to run in these smaller school zones. If that's the case, then some of this work that I'm doing, we won't need.
Hold on.
And so I think the precincts that I need to focus on will be where I have a split amongst school districts.
Right.
So for instance, I've got, a Fayetteville precinct that's split between Fayetteville and Greenland school districts. Those lines aren't going to change. But the school zones, I have a feeling we may be adjusting some things.
How many schools are we thinking that's, or how many districts?
I think Fayetteville and Springdale will need to keep those,
Right.
but all the others,
All of them.
I mean, they may or they may not. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I don't want to jump the gun and
Yeah.
as
Let it play out a little bit.
yeah.
Do they have a deadline?
They do. It's 90 days before the filing for the next school election. So
But that's continual deadline, right?
that's a continual deadline. So obviously that deadline is passed for the March election. So the next year in 2025, it'll go back to May. And so they'll have 90 days before the filing. So I'd have to look at the calendar to figure out what that date is. But it is something that I think some of the schools have on their radars.
Okay.
And so I don't want to do something that,
Yeah.
creates precincts that we no longer need.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna hold off
Good
on
idea.
some of that.
Can you visit with some of the school districts to get their sense of which
Mhm.
direction they're going?
Yeah, when we start to prep next year for the May 2025, we'll start to visit
Oh,
with the
gosh.
school districts about different things like that, and that'll be
So
something.
there's no rush.
No, there's no rush on that. We're set for this year, so
Okay.
there's no, yeah, there's no rush for that at all.
Okay, all right, what else? Anybody? All right, we are adjourned.